class. Good morning. Today we are going to be doing a continuation of the lesson that we did last time, which was on the digestive system. I am your teacher, Raquel. And so, in the previous lesson, what did we learn? We learned some new vocabulary words. We learned digestion. We learned mouth. We learned stomach. So we learned mouth, stomach, right in here. Then we learned the word small intestine, right here, and large intestine. So it's around the small intestine right here. And then we started to learn about the process of the digestive system. So I would like you to talk in pairs, or actually, since there's just 3 of you, talk in a group of 3, and discuss and answer these 3 questions. So go ahead and take 1 to 2 minutes to talk about them with each other, and then we will share some of them with the rest of the class.
What happens when we it's digested?
Yeah, you're so good. Yes. What is the process?
Yeah. How long is the average?
A while.
Oh, 24 hours?
Is it?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Don't you guys remember last time?
Yeah,
Just be quiet and the teacher might hear.
All right, now that you've had a minute to talk about, what did you answer for number 1? What did you say, Liz? What happens when we eat?
The food gets digested.
Yes, that's right. And we get nutrients out of the food, and that gives us energy. What is the digestive system, Sammy? That's part of the system, yeah. The digestive system is all of the organs in your body that work together to digest food and get nutrients and energy out of it. It's also how we pass waste out of our body, the stuff that shouldn't stay. And so, how long, Karen, do you think the average digestive process takes?
24 hours.
Yeah, it takes around 24 hours. Great job.
Team
So in today's lesson, we're going to continue learning about the digestive system. You are going to learn about the 4 main steps of digestion. You're going to learn about the main organs in the digestive system and the role or function each organ has. You are going to also make some predictions about the content that you're going to hear and use that as a listening strategy. We're going to listen and hear how words blend with of, and how they sound together and how they sound separated. And you're also going to write and organize notes in a flowchart. These are all really useful. You learning about the digestive system is important because it's your body. This is happening inside you every day, every time you eat. So it's important to know. It's also, if you have some pain, it can be useful to know the names of the organ, so if you have to go to the doctor, you know. And flowcharts, which we're going to learn how to write, are a great way to organize notes. So you can use that in future classes that you take. So now, we are going to do a little activity where we make some predictions. So I would like you to get out a piece of paper. If you don't have any extra paper, I have some that you can use. Does anybody need paper? You're going to need to be able to write on both sides of a piece of paper. So
Not paper. Can't use the scratch.
So on the first side, I want you to make some predictions about what role, function, or job that each organ has. So for example, I will make my predictions about mouth. I think that the mouth chews the food and you make it into smaller pieces, and that your saliva also starts the process of breaking down food. So you don't have to worry about writing complete sentences. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can just make a list. So go ahead and take another minute to write down your predictions.
Are we discussing with his partners or?
We will be.
Oh.
But make your predictions individually first.
So when students are working, we try to come up with what they're doing.
You will learn. This is just what you think. So take another 30 seconds to finish up, and then now that you're done, I want you to talk in a small group and share what you think. Did you write the same thing? Did you write anything different? So take a couple minutes to just talk amongst each other.
Oh, yeah. I said choose. I just wanted to, choose.
Yeah.
Stomach. So that holds the food. I don't know.
It does. I said it no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I said the same thing. But I don't know.
Small intestine, I said it says it to the large intestine.
Oh,
I said
it moves it to the body.
So that's, I don't know where it moves to.
It's probably moves. So.
And then the large one, I said that's what wakes up.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I said both because I wasn't sure. I said it takes out the bad stuff.
Oh. There we go.
When does it take out the
Great. That's fantastic. All right. So now that you've made your predictions and you've had the chance to talk to each other, we're actually going to put those away. And we're going to do a little something different, but we're going to come back to our predictions at the end of the lesson. So now we're going to actually do something about connected speech and how when we speak, it sounds different from how the words are written and how you think they should sound. So I'm going to say a word, and I just want to know what you think you hear. Olive.
Olive. Oh, wait. Yeah.
What you hear, how many of you heard olive? Like, olive. This animation didn't work out, that should be Blake. How many of you heard olive? Yeah? That's not what I said. What I actually said was two different words, all of. All of. But when you actually hear it, it sounds like olive. Like the fruit. This happens because when in English, we like to blend our words together. We say things quickly. We make them easier to say. And we like to connect two words that end in a consonant and when the next word starts with a vowel. We like to link them together into what sounds like one word. And a very common word that this linking happens with is with of, this preposition. So with all of, all ends in a consonant, an L. And of starts with a vowel. So what we do is we say them together. We do not pause. Olive. And it kind of looks like this. And it should sound like this. And also, if you do notice, I put a V there because when we say it, it sounds like olive instead of olive. So let's practice saying these slowly and then quickly. So all of. All of. Great. And can you say it quickly? Olive. Olive. Yeah, you don't pause. And then another example is out of. T is a consonant. Of starts with a vowel. So out of becomes out of. Out of. You say out of.
Out of.
Great. And out of.
Out of.
Fantastic.
Out of also B.
You're right. It does. Out of. That is a typo.
Oh,
You
so
are
B
right.
is B is something.
It should be a V. Yes. Okay, and so now I have a little worksheet for you where I'm going to say some sentences and I would like you to write the words that you hear. And all of these are going to be two words. It's going to be a word that is linking with a, but you've got to see if you can hear what the two words are. So, number one, a body system is designed as a group of organs that work together to carry out a very specific function. I'm going to say it again. A body system is designed as a group of organs that work together to carry out a very specific function. And number two, after taking all of the nutrients out of the food, the body doesn't need the leftover food anymore. After taking all of the nutrients out of the food, the body doesn't need the leftover food anymore. Number 3, our bodies have to break it down to get the nutrients out of it. Our bodies have to break it down to get the nutrients out of it. And the last one, if even all of the systems breaks down, you'd be in big trouble. I apologize, that's not, I read that wrong. If even one of the systems breaks down, you'd be in big trouble. So I will say it again. If even one of the systems breaks down, you'd be in big trouble. So now let's check our answers. Number 1, a body system is designed as a, what is the answer, Karen?
Group of.
Group of, yes. And Sammy, what is number 2? There are 2 different words, 2 different phrases here. After taking, all of, perfect, all of, and the second one, the nutrients, out of, perfect. And number 3, Liz, our bodies have to break it down to get the nutrients out of, perfect. And the last one, Karen, if even
One of.
one of. Now, one of is just a little interesting because if you look at how it's spelled, it ends with a vowel. It ends with an E. But when you pronounce it, we don't say this, we don't say the E. It's one. We end it with an N. So it still counts as a consonant connecting to the of. Okay, so now that we have listened to that connected speech, you're going to hear some of those in the audio that we're going to be listening to. These sentences are parts of the our little sentences from the lecture. We are going to we're going to learn how to make a flow chart. So a flow chart is a great way to organize notes that that are for something that has a process or something that has steps. This is just a general layout for a typical flow chart. You see that there are bubbles and shapes and you write inside them. So you start at the beginning and then you can go step by step, get to the end. And so we are going to do that because the digestive system is a process. So that sheet of paper that you wrote your predictions on, I want you to grab that paper again, but turn it around to see the blank side. You're going to write your own flow chart. And we're going to make the layout together. And then after we have made the basic flowchart, we're going to listen to the audio and you are going to fill in the blanks with the information from the audio that we listened to. So the first thing that we need for our flowchart is we need a title. What is our flowchart on? What is it about? Does anybody know? Give you a hint. Digestive system, yes. So in the upper left corner of your paper, right, the digestive system. And now we're going to make our first circle. So each of our circles is going to be about one process. And each process deals with one organ and one major place. So I'll give you the first one. The first circle is going to be mouth. My flip chart's going to go this way, but your flip chart can go top down. And then we can have an arrow going to the next circle. So our next circle is going to be the next organ. Does anybody know the next organ? We're not going to do the esophagus, but what's the stomach? Great job, Liz. So the next circle is going to be the stomach.
Can I take finger? But I really want to see you do the listening part.
Right.
Okay, I think you're gonna run out.
I'm going to run out of time. So this circle is going to be the small intestine. And your last circle will be the large intestine. In each one, I want you to have a blank here, and then I'm going to give you some information. It becomes soft. Small pieces. And I have muscle. And so this is a little example of shorthand. A W with the slash mark means width. And this is an abbreviation for chemicals. Okay. So now we're going to listen to the audio. And I'm going to pause it after the end of each bubble.
The vascular and respiratory systems are really important. Okay, where should I start? We all like to eat, so maybe I'll start with the digestive system. Our bodies use the energy in the food we eat to carry out all of our daily life functions. To get the energy from food, our body has to break it down and take the nutrients out of it. This process is called digestion. Digestion begins as soon as you put food into your mouth. As your mouth moves and chews the food, it becomes softer and breaks apart into smaller pieces. When the pieces of food are small and soft enough to swallow, they travel from your mouth down to your stomach.
And back to
Or the digestive system. Our bodies use the energy in the food we eat to carry out all of our daily life functions. To get the energy from food, our body has to break it down and take the nutrients out of it. This process is called digestion. Digestion begins as soon as you put food into your mouth. As your mouth moves and chews the food, it becomes softer and breaks apart into smaller pieces. When the pieces of food are small and soft enough to swallow, they travel from your mouth down to your stomach.
okay. Can anybody tell me what goes right in here? What happens with food when it enters our mouth?
Then, we chew it.
Yeah, we chew our food. So we chew food, and then it becomes soft and breaks into smaller pieces. And then, as he said in his last sentence, they travel from your mouth to your stomach. So now we're going to
So
look.
don't say that one more time. To make sure you hear the chew part. This is my teaching tip today.
To eat, so maybe I'll start with the digestive system. Our bodies use the energy in the food we eat to carry out all of our daily life functions. To get the energy from food, our body has to break it down and take the nutrients out of it. This process is called digestion. Digestion begins as soon as you put food into your mouth. As your mouth moves and chews the food, it becomes softer and breaks apart into smaller pieces. When the pieces of food are small and soft enough to swallow, they travel from your mouth down to your stomach.
Great, okay. So the next section is about the stomach.
There in the stomach, powerful muscles squeeze the food and mix it together with chemicals. This phase can last for several hours, and when it's over, the food has become thick soup.
Makes me hungry.
All right, I'm going to take one more time.
There, the food and mix it together.
There we go. Okay.
It's not on
Food are small and soft enough to swallow. They travel from your mouth down to your stomach. There in the stomach, powerful muscles squeeze the food and mix it together with chemicals. This phase can last for several hours, and when it's over, the food has become thick soup.
Okay. So in the stomach, when food comes down, the muscle, what does the muscle do to the food? It squeezes. Squeezes the food, right. Wait, somebody. Easy. Ha! I was right. Okay. Yeah, it squeezes the food and mixes with chemicals. Then it becomes thick soup. Great job. Now, let's do that one more time.
Food are small and soft enough to swallow. They travel from your mouth down to your stomach. There in the stomach, powerful muscles squeeze the food and mix it together with chemicals. This phase can last for several hours, and when it's over, the food has become thick soup.
Great. And now the third bubble for the small intestine.
From the stomach, it then moves into the small intestine where something very important happens. Nutrients from the food pass through the intestine and move into the blood. Those nutrients have now become part of the cardiovascular.
That one more time.
become thick soup. From the stomach, it then moves into the small intestine where something very important happens. Nutrients from the food pass through the intestine and move into the blood.
Okay, this one has a lot. It was all in one sentence. So what was the first word?
Nutrient.
Nutrient. Pass through the intestine and they go into the blood. Great. And here I wrote leftover food. You're about to hear that, and well, we listen to this one more time.
I think, did she have a time? Somebody had time to keep on?
I'm out of time. I know.
Or, okay, why don't we just end it there and then give you some feedback on it? Okay. At least I got this view with 3 of them.
I have a recap. I just.
I wanted to show us your makeup.
Yeah, well, so the recap is I want you to work together in groups to actually go back and look at your predictions. Compare your predictions to the flow chart. Because this flow chart, every single thing is about what the organ does, and see what's different. Were your predictions correct? Were they incorrect? And then I want you to work and then get together in a group and share the differences, and then also discuss if you learned something new, and then share with the class something new that you learned from the lecture.